Today is Tuesday, April 18th. We'll tell you about two cases that have sparked protests, one involving police and another involving a teen who apparently rang the wrong doorbell. Also, a trial involving one of America's most popular media outlets that could set an important First Amendment precedent. Plus, the new rules for getting tax credits for buying an electric car. How Elon Musk wants to go up against ChatGPT. And the viral song that even the singers did not know about. Those stories and more news coming up. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Protesters are rallying over a controversial decision from a grand jury in Ohio. It decided not to press charges against 8 police officers who shot and killed a 25-year-old black man named Jayland Walker. The whole thing started last year when officers tried to pull Walker over for a broken taillight. But he did not pull over, and during a chase, he fired a shot from inside his car. Then he jumped out and started running. Police say they tried to use tasers on him and then opened fire. The 8 officers fired 94 shots, and 46 of them hit Walker. They've been restricted to administrative duty ever since and will stay there for now while an internal investigation continues. Ohio's Attorney General defended the grand jury's decision not to charge the officers, saying Walker shot first, so they had reason to think they were in danger. But the Walker family and supporters are demanding what they call needed accountability. Protesters last night flooded the streets of Akron, Ohio. They were mostly peaceful. By the way, another shooting sparked protests this week, this time in Kansas City, and this one did not involve police. Authorities say a black 16-year-old named Ralph Yarl rang the wrong doorbell while he was trying to pick up his younger brothers. And the 84-year-old white man who lived there opened the door and shot him. Initially, police took the man into custody, and the man told them he thought Yarl was breaking in. Investigators released him after 24 hours. His release fueled 2 days of protests and calls for justice all over the country, including from celebrities like Jennifer Hudson, Justin Timberlake, and Patrick Mahomes. Then yesterday, the man was charged with 2 felonies. And Yarl has been released from the hospital. It seems an American diplomatic convoy has gotten caught up in intense fighting in Sudan. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says gunmen fired on the U.S. convoy, even though it was traveling with diplomatic plates and an American flag. He says it looks like the attackers were part of the militia group that's been battling the regular army for control of Sudan the last few days. The Americans are all safe, but Blinken still called the shooting reckless and irresponsible. And reports say this marks another escalation in the fighting that threatens to erupt into a full-scale civil war. To be continued. The U.S. Justice Department says China has spied on and harassed people in America who are critical of the Chinese government, and has even gone so far as to set up a secret police station in a New York City office building. The DOJ arrested 2 New York citizens for helping set up that station, helping China locate a pro-democracy activist, and more. Authorities say these arrests are the first of their kind. The DOJ also charged about 36 officers of China's national police force, but those suspects are likely living in China, so they're not in custody. A spokesperson for the Chinese embassy calls the charges political manipulation used to smear China's image. Though for now, this case is moving forward. Lawmakers in the House Judiciary Committee went on a field trip this week. They held a hearing about crime in New York City and talked about the policies of the Manhattan DA. The same Manhattan DA who's charging former President Trump with dozens of crimes related to an alleged hush money scheme. So Trump's case was brought up quite a bit. The committee also heard from several people who were crime victims or related to crime victims. The whole thing was led by Republican Congressman Jim Jordan, who has had a public dispute with District Attorney Alvin Bragg over Bragg's investigation into the former president. At the hearing, Jordan blamed Bragg for crime in New York City. Bragg's office put out data that says in New York City, arrests for major crimes are actually up. And Democrats on the committee called the whole hearing pointless since federal officials don't have jurisdiction over local policies. Moving forward, Republicans on the committee say they're considering similar field hearings about crime in other places too, but at this point, none have been scheduled. A high-profile jury trial is expected to get into some hot-button debates over journalistic ethics, politics, and libel law. The voting machine company Dominion filed a $1.6 billion defamation lawsuit against Fox News, and opening arguments are finally set to begin today. Dominion says Fox News smeared its name after the 2020 election. since the network reported what some associates of former President Trump were saying, that the voting machine company helped rig the outcome of the presidential election in favor of President Biden. Dominion says not only did Fox News air those claims, but that in some cases, on-air hosts endorsed them. Going into the trial, Dominion has already presented internal Fox communications that show hosts, producers, and executives did not necessarily believe the election fraud claims, but kept broadcasting them anyway. And that could help Dominion, since to win a defamation suit, you have to prove someone knowingly published false information or at least disregarded the truth. But Fox says Dominion cherry-picked evidence to mischaracterize the network's coverage decisions. And it stands by that coverage, since the network says election rigging claims by the president's lawyers were inherently newsworthy. On top of that, Fox says Dominion is actually doing well. And to win this case, Dominion would have to prove that it suffered significant financial harm because of Fox's reporting. The trial is expected to last 6 weeks. Starting today, there are changes to the popular tax credit you get for buying an electric vehicle. Now, if you're hoping to get a tax break on a new EV, you'll have to buy American. And to get the full $7,500 credit, it can't just be an American car company, but a set portion of battery parts on the car also needs to be made in North America. A portion of critical minerals have to be sourced in the U.S. or from another friendly country as well. And the whole car also needs to be below a certain price point. One more thing to mention, it's not just about the actual car you buy anymore. It also depends on how much money you make. A lot of people in the auto industry have worried all these new rules could hurt the demand for EVs, which still sell for thousands of dollars more than gas-powered cars. But the Biden administration is hoping this just makes automakers want to build more on U.S. soil while inspiring more Americans to buy electric. Stay tuned. More news is still coming up, but first, a quick break for our sponsor. If you've been wondering about a health issue for a while, maybe you've asked some friends about it, it might be time to get an expert's opinion, even if it's for nothing else but peace of mind. Well, thousands of medical professionals from a variety of specialties are available to search and find and book on ZocDoc, who are able to give you the expert care you need. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. When you're not feeling your best, finding a doctor should not take up all of your energy. Millions of people use ZocDoc to find the right doctor for them. So book an appointment with a few taps in their app, and hopefully soon enough, you can start to feel better. Go to ZocDoc.com/newsworthy and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. Billionaire tech mogul Elon Musk is planning to expand his profile even more, this time with an AI chatbot. He has plans to start a direct competitor to ChatGPT that he'll call Truth GPT. Musk told Fox News it will seek truth and try to understand the nature of the universe. But Musk also warned about the dangerous potential of advanced artificial intelligence, saying in last night's interview it could destroy human civilization if left unchecked. In fact, last month, he and more than 1,000 other experts signed an open letter advocating for a pause in the development of advanced AI systems. Musk says Truth GPT will be different, though, because, quote, an AI that cares about understanding the universe is unlikely to annihilate humans because we are an interesting part of the universe. And he's still calling on the government to regulate artificial intelligence. Speaking of AI, it's also making popular music now. An anonymous creator named Ghostwriter used artificial intelligence to clone the voices of Drake and The Weeknd and created a song called Heart on My Sleeve. It was viewed more than 15 million times on TikTok and more than 600,000 times on Spotify. It was also up on Apple Music, Tidal, and more. Apparently, Ghostwriter used software that was trained on the musicians' voices to sort of sing the original song. But not everyone is impressed. The artist label Universal Music Group said AI should not even have access to their voices. It's not clear if UMG sent formal takedown requests, but most streaming platforms did take it down yesterday afternoon. As of this morning, it's still on YouTube, and the creator commented under the video, quote, "This is just the beginning." One of the largest sellers of wedding gowns in the U.S. is in jeopardy. David's Bridal says it supplies dresses to 1 out of every 4 brides in the country. But it filed for bankruptcy this week and said it would shut down all of its stores if it does not find a buyer quickly. This is the store's second bankruptcy filing in less than 5 years. This time it has $257 million in debt, and it announced plans to lay off more than 9,000 of its workers. The company blames the lasting effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and some changes in buyer behavior. Apparently, non-traditional wedding attire has become more popular. And in general, the number of weddings in the U.S. is still lower than it was in the years leading up to the pandemic. For now, at least, nearly 300 David's Bridal stores in the U.S., Canada, and U.K. will stay open, as well as the store's website. The Philadelphia Eagles star quarterback just signed a massive contract extension that makes him the highest-paid player in NFL history. Jalen Hurts agreed to a 5-year deal for $255 million. That works out to $51 million a year, making this the biggest contract in terms of average yearly value. It makes sense that the Eagles would want to hold on to him since he had a dominant season last year, helping lead the team to the Super Bowl. Now, other star quarterbacks like Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson are looking for new deals as well and are also expected to sign this offseason. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. Today's trivia question is, who was the first author to use a type machine or typewriter in writing a manuscript? You can play along with us in our weekly roundup email that goes out each Friday. Simply sign up to get it at thenewsworthy.com/email or find the link in today's episode notes. As for last week's trivia question, what country has the most natural lakes? The answer is Canada. Canada has nearly 880,000 lakes, which is more than other countries combined. This is partly because Canada is the second largest country in the world, so there's just a lot of space for lakes. But also, Canada was once situated under a large ice sheet. The huge weight of it and erosion meant the landscape filled with water. And with that, lakes cover almost 9% of the country. Well, thank you so much for listening today. Be sure to follow or subscribe to The Newsworthy in your podcast app so you're always in the know. We'll be back with another news roundup tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.